we
This
discuss about
conference will now be
data
recorded.
warehousing. What is data warehouse? What type of data we store in data warehouse, and then what is the difference between OLTP and data warehouse? And what is ODS database? What is stage database? Why we have the stage database in between ODS and data warehouse? Okay, so what will happen without loading the data into the stage directly? If you load the data into the data warehouse, so what will happen? Like that, different cases also we discuss, right? Next, today we'll start with dimension and fact. Dimension in short form, we also called it as a dim table, dimension table or dim table. Okay, so we should know the difference between dimension and a factor table. Okay, so in relational table, for example, we have one relational table like this: employee table, employee number, employee name, salary, phone number, email, address, date of birth. Okay, pin code. Like this, we have multiple columns in employee table. Okay, so a relational database or relational table, employee, let's say this is a relational table. So in this relational table, here we have employee number, employee name, salary, phone number, email, address, date of birth, pin. So each and every column will have a different data type. Employee number is a number data type of data. Name is a character type of data. Salary is a number type of data. Phone number, it can be a number or character type of data. Email, character type of data. Address, character type of data. Date of birth, it's a data type of data. Pin code, again, it's a character type of data. Like this, in relational table, we have any data, we can store any data type of data. Whereas in data warehouse, we'll have the dimensions and fact tables. Okay, so dimension contains surrogate keys and master data. Master data, we also called it as non-measurable data. Surrogate keys and master data are non-measurable data. Surrogate key or primary key. Okay, there would be a little bit difference between surrogate keys and primary keys. We'll discuss later what is that. But for now, in data warehouse, we should not call it as a primary key. Most of the times we'll call it as a surrogate key. There is a little bit difference between primary key and surrogate key. We'll discuss that later. Now, so for time being, understand the dimension contains primary keys and master data, which is a non-measurable data, whereas fact contains surrogate keys of dimensions and measurable data. Okay, surrogate keys of dimensions and measurable data. Fact contains dimension contains surrogate keys and master data, whereas fact contains surrogate keys of dimensions and measurable data. Okay, now this relational table data, if you want to load into a dimension and fact tables, how we are going to load this table data, relational table data? If you want to load in a dimension, employee dimension, emp underscore dim, like this, we have a dimension. So employee dimension will have employee key. This is a surrogate key column, which will have the numeric data. Okay, sequence values will be there in that key column. Apart from that, we have non-measurable data, which is a master data. From employee table, if you want to store the non-measurable data, employee number. So employee number or employee ID. In some of the companies, employee ID, it would be complete digit, like a digits, numeric numbers. Whereas in some companies, employee ID can be both characters as well as numbers. So if it is only number, we can measure such type of values. If it is both character as well as a number or character type of data, we cannot measure such type of data, right? I repeat, we cannot measure character type of data. We can measure only number type of data. Okay, So here non-measurable data only we can store. If employee number contains only the numbers, then we can measure such type of data. If both characters as well as number are character type of data, we cannot measure. Most of the times employee number will have the number type of data. So since that is a number type of data, we can measure the number type of data. So we cannot store employee number in dimension because dimension contains non-measurable data. When it comes to the employee name, so employee name is a character type of data. Names we cannot measure, only number type of data we can measure, whereas character type of data we can't measure. Okay, so employee name we can store in a dimension. Salary, again it's a number type of data, so which we can measure. Salary we can measure. Phone number, since it's a 10 digit of number, so sometimes we'll have that in a character type of data as a data type, so in that case we cannot measure. So phone numbers we cannot measure. So such type of data we can store in a whichever you feel like it's a non-measurable. All those non-measurable we can store in a dimension, and measurables we can store in a fact. So deciding which the column should be there in a dimension, which column should be there in fact, it is not Informatica developers' responsibility. There would be architects. Architects will be designing the data models, and it's their responsibility to design the data model for this dimension and fact tables. And in that, they will be deciding which column should be there in a dimension, which column should be there in a fact. As Informatica developer, we should know what is a dimension, what is a fact, what type of data will be there in a dimension, and what type of data will be there in a fact. Okay. Next, email. Email also character type of data we cannot measure. Address also we cannot measure. Date of birth. So date of birth, it's a data type of data. So numbers we can measure. Here dates also we cannot measure. So date of birth also will have for dates also will have the dimension. Okay, and pin code. So pin code also sometimes in some places will have complete numbers, or in some places will have both characters as well as number type of data. So in such cases, we cannot measure such type of pin codes. So we can store that in a dimension like this. All the non apart from the surrogate key column, other columns should be non-measurable columns. And then fact contains emp underscore fact. So this contains surrogate keys of dimensions. So this dimension surrogate key, the same key also will present in employee fact table. And then measurable columns, employee number, salary, right? So all the other columns are non-measurable we have in a dimension. Whereas this fact contains surrogate keys of dimensions and measurable columns, employee number, salary, or number type of data. Okay, so here I will show you sample dimension and fact table. In the materials folder, I have shared data warehouse schemas. So here you will find the dimension and a factor table. Okay, so you can see here we have item dimension. So item dimension, it's a key which is surrogate key or primary key. Apart from this, item name, it's a character type of data. Brand, it's a character type of data. Sold by, character type of data. Category, again all these are character type of data. Apart from this primary key column, all the columns are character type of data only. In the same way, branch dimension, here also you can see this dimension contains branch id. It's a key column, so that will have the numeric data. Apart from that key column, the branch name, you can see name, it's a character type of data. Owner, who is the owner of that branch, character type of data. In the same way, location, location id, location name, state, pin code contains characters, so that's the reason we have that in a dimension. The same with time dimension. So time id, date, month, this is not a number type of data, that's a date type of data. This also we cannot measure. So like this, all the dimensions you can see here, we have one key column, and then apart from that we have non-measurable column. Whereas fact contains surrogate keys of dimensions, right? So foreign keys, surrogate keys of dimension means item key, time id, location id, branch id, all the dimension surrogate keys are present in the fact. Okay, So if all the dimensions are present in the fact means, so in the dimensions primary keys, those keys we called it as a primary keys. Here the same keys will act as a foreign key. In fact table, so dimension surrogate keys will act as a foreign key columns. And then apart from the apart from the surrogate key columns, we can see measurable columns. Quantity sold, it's a number. Amount sold, again it's a number. Average sales, it's a number. Okay, so like this fact contains surrogate keys of dimensions and number type of data. Okay, so dimension contains surrogate keys and then master data, whereas non-measurable data. Fact contains surrogate keys of dimensions and measurable data. Like this, while storing the data into the data warehouse, so we divide from relational table like this. Why we have this dimension and fact tables and data warehouse? Why not relational tables? In some of the companies, some people they won't follow the data warehouse structure. They'll have same the relational structure only. They'll store the historical data. Okay, it is not mandatory that always we have to store in dimension fact model. Okay, some people will follow dimension fact model, some people will follow the same relational model to store the historical data in data warehouse. So if why we have this dimension fact model means to improve the performance of the reports, or generally if it is a relational table, then it will take a long time to fetch the data for the report. So on top of the data warehouse, reports will be generated, right? So to improve the performance of the reports and all, we store the data in a data warehouse in dimension and fact model. So if you store the data in dimension fact model, it would be easy to generate the reports. So there could be other reasons, but this is the major why we have dimension fact models in data warehouse database. Next, so that is the dimension and fact. Next we have schemas. Schemas in data warehouse. So we have two types of schemas in data warehouse. One is star schema. The second one is snowflake schema. Star schema and then snowflake schema we have. So these are the two types of schemas we have. What is star schema? Star schema means just now we have seen here like star schema model. Star schema model means in a data model, this is a data model or a schema, if a fact is connected with all the dimensions. In a data model or a schema, if fact is connected with all the dimensions or dimensions are connected to the fact, then that model or that schema we call it as a star schema model. I repeat, in the star schema model, fact should have connected with all the dimensions, or dimensions, all the dimensions should have connected with the fact. So how would we know that whether the dimension is connected with all the facts or fact is connected with all the dimensions or not? Means in a schema or a model, a fact contains all the dimensions surrogate keys. Now here there are 4 dimensions, we have one fact, right? So in this case, if fact, I mean like if fact contains all those 4 dimensions surrogate keys, that means we can say that this fact is connected with all the dimensions. If at least one of the dimensions surrogate key is not present in this fact table, then this is not a star schema model. So in star schema model, if you have 10 dimensions, all the 10 dimensions keys should present in a fact, then only that can be a star schema model. Okay, so we have another type of model called snowflake schema model. Snowflake model means this one. So here you can see there are multiple dimensions and fact, only one fact we have. And so this fact contains only 3 dimension keys: date ID from date dimension, store ID from store dimension, product ID from product dimension. Like this, we have only 3 IDs in this factor. Okay, so we don't have all the dimensions, all the dimension keys here. So we have geography dimension, brand dimension, category dimension, but these dimension surrogate keys are not present in the fact. Like this, if at least one of the dimension key is not present in the factor directly, then that model we called it as a snowflake schema model. In snowflake model, if at least one of the dimension key is not present, then that model we called it as it is not mandatory that more than one key should not present in the fact. No, if you, in a schema, if you have 10 dimensions Out of 10 dimension, 9 keys are present in a fact, but only one dimension key is not present in the fact, even though that is not a star schema, that is a snowflake schema model. If at least one of the dimension key is not present in the fact, then that is snowflake schema model. Okay, so we just have to know what is star schema model and what is snowflake schema model. Clear? Any questions? Okay, next. So, and then we have types of dimensions. So we have two types of dimensions. One is, sorry, we have four types of dimensions. Schemas, we have two. Dimensions, we have four. One is conform dimension, junk dimension, degenerated dimension. Fourth one is slowly changing dimension. Conform dimension, junk dimension, degenerated dimension, and then slowly changing dimension. Like this, we have four types of dimensions. Okay. So even though we have four types of dimensions, in real time, you will find only conform dimension and slowly changing dimension. So these two are very, very important. Okay. So in slowly changing dimension, again, we have three types. Okay. SCD type 1, SCD type 2, SCD type 3. Like this, we have three types of dimensions in data. I mean, like in slowly changing dimension. SCD type 1. SCD means slowly changing dimension. Type 1, type 2, type 3. Okay. So in SCD type 1 dimension, we store latest data or current data. So in SCD type 1 dimension, we store latest data or current data. In SCD type 2 dimension, we store historical data. In SCD type 3 dimension, we store partial history. So like this, we have four types of dimensions: conform dimension, junk dimension, degenerated dimension, slowly changing dimension. In slowly changing dimension, we have three types: type 1, type 2, type 3. Okay, so in Informatica class, practically we will be creating a mapping for this type 1 and type 2 because those two are very important. So we also create mappings, SCD type 1 mapping, SCD type 2 mapping. Okay, so 100% in real time we'll create a mapping for this SCD type 1 mapping. Also you'll find SCD type 2 also you will find to maintain the historical data. So practically we will be creating a mapping for that, how we can maintain the latest data or historical data. Type 3 very rare, or we never create. I have never created till now type 3 mapping. Okay, so most of the times we create latest data or current data, that is the type 1 mapping or type 2 mapping. Next, what is conform dimension? So conform dimension means if any dimension can be reused, if any dimension can reuse in multiple projects, then that is a conform dimension. For example, let's say you have two projects. Okay, so like this, you have AE project and GE project. There are two different types of projects. In this AE project here, we have employee dimension. Okay, this employee dimension contains AE employees information. Okay, so we have another project here. Also, we have a requirement to create employee dimension. Okay, so whatever the dimension already created under AE project, can we copy paste or can we reuse the same dimension here in GE? Means no, we cannot reuse because AE employee dimension contains AE employees information. If you copy this dimension into the GE project, again you will be getting this all the AE employees information into G, which is not correct. So that means this employee dimension cannot be reused. Okay, so if any dimension cannot, I mean, like if there is any dimension which will reuse in multiple projects, then that is a conformed dimension. Example, calendar dimension. So here we have the calendar data, right? So this calendar data across the world will never change. Okay, calendar data across the world never change, right? The calendar would remain same. Okay, so if you want to store such type of calendar information into any dimension, then that is called conformed dimension. So for conformed dimension, the example is calendar dimension. So calendar dimensions we can reuse in multiple projects. Okay, next. Like this, we can decide like if any dimension, the data would be same, structure and the data would be same. It won't change if you use in the any other projects also, then there we can use this conform dimension. Then junk dimension. Junk dimension means if any dimension values would be keep on changing every minute or every second, then that is a junk dimension. So for example, stock market information, if you have created any dimension to store, then we know that that stock market information, the data would be keep on changing every second or every minute. Okay, so such type of dimension, we call it as a junk dimension. We never see such type of dimensions in real time, very rare. So junk dimension means if any dimension values would be keep on changing every second or every minute, then such type of dimension we call it as a junk dimension. Okay, next, degenerated dimension. Degenerated dimension means if any dimension is going to share its attribute to the factor. If any dimension is going to share its attribute means column name. For example, here we have a dimension, employee dimension. So in this dimension, this is a this column is a pin code, which is a non-measurable column. Okay, so sometimes it is also required to store this column in a factor. Okay, so if any non-measurable column, if you store in a factor, so generally this will never happen. So if you store like this, okay, so apart from the surrogate key columns from the dimensions and measurable values, if any dimension is going to share its column with a factor, then this dimension now we call it as a degenerated dimension. So degenerated dimension means if any dimension shares its attribute to the factor, then that is called degenerated dimension. If any dimension shares its factor to if any dimension shares its attribute to the fact, then that is called a degenerated dimension. Next, slowly changing dimension. Slowly changing dimension, here I have told you we have three types of slowly changing dimensions: type 1, type 2, type 3. Type 1 contains the latest data or current data. Type 2 dimension contains the historical data. Type 3 contains the partial history. So in Informatica class, practically we will be creating the mappings for this. Next, we have types of facts. So we have four types of facts. One is additive fact. Second one, we have semi-additive fact. Factless fact. Semi-additive fact, non-additive fact. Additive fact, semi-additive fact, factless fact, and non-additive fact. Okay, so what is additive fact? Additive fact means this one. In star schema model, whatever the fact we have, this we called it as an additive fact, which contains all the dimensions, surrogate keys, and measurable data. If any fact contains all the dimensions, surrogate keys, then measurable data, then that is an additive fact. Additive fact contains uh, all the dimension, surrogate keys, and measurable data. All the dimension, surrogate keys, and measurable data. Then this one, semi-additive fact means if at least one of the dimension. Here you can see in Snowflake model, so only few dimension surrogate keys are present and some of the measurable values. So this fact we call it as a semi-additive fact. Semi means only few of the dimension surrogate keys are present in a fact and measurable columns, then that is called semi-additive fact. Few of the dimensions surrogate keys, few of the dimension surrogate keys and measurable data. Okay, so semi-additive fact means few of the dimension surrogate keys and measurable data. Okay, so that means like this, only some of the dimension surrogate keys should present, not all the dimensions, and only measurable columns. That is called semi-additive fact. Factless fact. Here, none of the dimension surrogate keys should present. Okay, wait, hold on. So here, this one will write here. Semi-additive fact, non-additive fact, and factless fact. Non-additive fact means none of the dimension surrogate keys should present in the fact. Okay, additive fact, semi-additive fact, non-additive fact, and factless fact. Non-additive fact means none of the dimension, no dimension surrogate key is present. That means fact should not connect to any of the dimension. So if there is a fact and that fact is not connected to any of the dimension, which means none of the dimension surrogate keys are present in a fact, then such type of fact we call it as non-additive factor. So that fact contains only measurable data. So the non-additive fact contains only measurable data. There is no surrogate keys of dimensions. Next, factless fact. Factless fact contains only surrogate keys of dimension. Only surrogate keys of dimensions. No measurable data. Only surrogate keys of dimensions and no measurable data. Okay, so if you have like this, then that we call it as a factless fact. So we should have to know the definitions of this. What are the different types of dimensions we have, different types of facts. Okay, what is additive fact, semi-additive fact, non-additive fact, and factless fact. Next, so these are the 4 types of facts we have. Next, now we'll discuss what is the difference between primary key and surrogate key. Surrogate key, primary key. So surrogate key, we know primary key first, it won't allow to insert the null values. Primary key won't allow to insert the null values. Same surrogate key column also won't allow to insert the null values. Okay, next, it won't allow to insert duplicate values, right? Duplicate values, we cannot insert the duplicate values in surrogate key column. Okay, same in surrogate key also we cannot insert the duplicate values. Surrogate key column values also should be unique or distinct. So if we are calling that column as a surrogate key, that column won't allow to insert the null values, and also it won't allow to insert the duplicate values. Next, can we create a primary key on non-numeric column? Yes, primary key can be created on either numeric or non-numeric column. Primary key can be created on either numeric or non-numeric columns, whereas surrogate key can be created only on numeric columns. In data warehouse, you will find the surrogate keys only on the numeric columns. You won't find the surrogate keys on non-numeric columns. Okay, so next, how many primary keys we can have in a table? So we can have only one primary key in a table. We can have only one primary key in a table, whereas how many surrogate keys we can have in a dimension? We can have n number of surrogate keys in a dimension. We can have n number of surrogate keys in a dimension. Okay, so these are the major differences between primary key and surrogate key. In data warehouse, we'll call that as a surrogate key. So the difference between primary key and surrogate key is in data where in surrogate key we can have only numeric type of data. That means we can create a surrogate key on only numeric data type of columns. Whereas primary key can be created either numeric or non-numeric, but there should be only one primary key in a table. There should be only one primary key in a table, whereas surrogate keys we can have n number in a dimension. Okay, so these are the differences between surrogate key and primary key. Next, we have data mart and data warehouse. Data mart and data warehouse. So what is the difference between data mart and data warehouse? Data mart also contains the historical data. We are sure that data warehouse contains the historical data, right? Then what is the difference between data mart and data warehouse? Data warehouse, here we store the historical data at enterprise level. Here we store the historical data at enterprise level. What it means? Suppose in a company, if there are 100, or if there are 10 departments, and if you want to store the historical data of all the 10 departments, then we need to have data warehouse. In data warehouse, I will have all the 10 departments data. But sometimes, even though I have 10 departments, I don't want all the 10 departments historical data. I want only one department historical data, or for each and every department we need to create separate data warehouse, right? So in that case we can call that as a data mart, not the data warehouse. So data mart contains the historical data at department level. Okay, so data mart contains the historical data at the department level. So it contains the data at department level. So that also contains the history, whereas this one data warehouse also contains the history. So data warehouse stores the historical data at enterprise level, whereas the data mart contains department level. So it depends on the requirement. Architects will, or client side architects, they will decide whether they want to go for to store historical data at data mart or a data warehouse. Based on that, these data mart and data warehouses will be created. Clear? So these are the concepts we have in data warehouse. So in data warehouse, we discussed about what is OLTP database, what is ODS database, what is stage database, and then what is data warehouse database, the standard data flow, and then what is dimension table, what is fact table, then what is a schema, different types of schemas, class schemas, snowflake schemas, and then different types of dimensions, different types of facts, primary key, surrogate key difference, and the data mart and data warehouse. So these are the concepts we have in data warehouse. So if you are attending for interview, then they will ask questions from data warehouse also. We don't have any questions, whatever we have discussed till now, all these are important only. Okay, so what are the different types of dimensions, different types of facts, schemas? So all these things will be there. Okay, so with that, we have done with the data warehouse, and we are going to start Informatica now. Any questions here? Is it done? Okay, fine, next. Next we'll start Informatica Power Center. Okay, so first initial 10-15 minutes we'll have the basic introduction about Informatica, then we'll start the practical. Okay, fine. So what is Informatica Power Center tool? So Informatica Power Center is an ETL tool. ETL means extract, transform and load. So which means extracting the data from one database, transform and load into another database. Okay, so there is a company with the name Informatica. That company developed many tools. One of the tools name is ETL Informatica Power Center. So this tool is used to extract the data from one database, transform and load into another database. Okay. So while loading the data from one database to another database, we have different scenarios, and also to load the data or to perform ETL in market, not only Informatica tool, we have different types of ETL tools like Ab Initio, Data Stage, Pentaho, Warehouse Builder. Like this, we have different types of ETL tools. Okay, so even though we have different types of ETL tools, most of the people or most of the clients would suggest to go for Informatica. Why? So why means compare with other ETL tools, Informatica is more secure, more user friendly, and we have most advanced features in Informatica. So that is the reason we should have to go for Informatica person, Informatica tool to perform ETL. Okay, so what is the latest version of Informatica Power Center? So latest version, we have Informatica Power Center 10. Okay, but still for us to practice, it is not available in Oracle website. Okay, if you go to the edelivery.oracle.com, from there we can download the latest version. Okay, but still we have there 9.6. But if you want to purchase, you can have Informatica 10 version also. Fine. So, but even though we have 10 version, still most of the companies are using 9.6, 9.5 or 9.0 version. So in my company also, so I am working on this 9.0 or 9.5, still not 9.6. They are still into 9.5 version only. Okay, but in my system, I have installed all three: 9.0, 9.5, 9.6. Multiple versions are there. Okay, so but in our training we will be, I mean, like I have already installed a 9.6 version in your system, so we can practice in 9.6. Okay, so if you are attending interview there, if anyone asks like which version of Informatica you are working, means you can say 9.6. So in your current project, so we it's a 9.6 version working. So previous to this 9.6 version, so previous to 9.6, we have 9.5, 9.0, 9. Before that, we have 8.6. Okay, like this, we have multiple versions. Fine. So if anyone asks like which version in Informatica you're working, means you can say 9.6. Okay. Next step. To work with Informatica tool, we need to install the Informatica server software and client software. Okay. Informatica server and then client software. So these two softwares we should have to install first. In our local system, both the server and client installed in the same machine, whereas in the real time, server would be installed in some other machine. Okay, whereas client would be installed in your local machine. So server software in real time would be installed in Unix machine, not in Windows. So, not only Informatica, any technology server softwares would be installed in Unix machine, whereas a client, Informatica client or any other clients also would be installed in our local system, which is in Windows machine. Okay, fine. So installation and all will take care by the admin team. So administrator, Informatica administrator will take care of these installation, but still as Informatica developer, you should have to know how to do the installation. So that is the reason initially I have asked for you to do the installation. Fine. So while installing the Informatica server software, so first we have to configure the domain. We have to create a domain here. Okay, so while installing the server software, so in multiple steps, it will ask us to configure the domain or create a domain. So before that, we also have to give the database credentials, database address, service name. So all these things we have to give, and then the domain will be created. Once the domain is created, we have to log into the Informatica Administrator homepage. There we create a repository service and integration service, right? So inside the domain, so we'll create a repository service and integration service. So these two services are mandatory to create to work with the Cloud Center, repository service and integration service. So this one also I have practically shown you while creating. We have created this repository service and integration service in your system in administrator. So after configuring or after creating the domain, so we logged into the Informatica Administrator homepage. There we created this repository service and integration service. Now, what is repository service? What we can do by using this repository service? What is the purpose of creating repository service? Repository service is nothing but a storage area. Repository is a storage area. What is meant by storage area? So whatever the work we do, like we create mapping session workflows, right? So whatever the work we do in Informatica, everything it should have to store in some location, right? That location we call it as a repository. So for that one, we have to create a repository. Once you create a repository service in Informatica, like it will create some partition kind of thing. So there we can store all our mappings, whatever the mappings we create, sessions and workflows, everything is going to be stored and inside that repository. So if you don't have repository, then where you are going to store our mappings, right? Okay, so that is the reason initially we have to create a repository service. After creating a repository service, so generally in real time we'll have four types of repositories: a dev repository, QA repository, UAT repository, production repository. Like that, we will have four types of repositories in real time. Okay, so here in your local system, we have created rep underscore dev repository, which is development repository, whereas in real time, and if they are following the standard process, then they will have like four types of repositories: dev, QA, UAT, production. Fine, next. What is integration service? Why we have to create an integration service? Integration service performs actual ETL. So integration service, this will perform the actual ETL task: extract, transform, and load. So actual ETL task will perform by the integration service. Okay. Suppose let's say we have one source table and we have one target table, and we have created Informatica mapping to extract the data from the source and transform and load into the target table. So for that we have created a mapping called M1 mapping. So this mapping we have stored on inside that repository. Okay, and then this mapping, after creating a mapping, it is not going to load the data from source to target. We have to execute that mapping. After execution only, it is going to extract the data from source, transform and load into the target. Okay, so as soon as you start execution of this mapping, it will connect to the integration service. Integration service, what it will do is, it will start the DTM engine for that mapping. Integration service will start a DTM engine for that mapping. Whatever the mapping we have executed, for that mapping, integration service will start a DTM engine. DTM means data transfer manager. So data transfer manager engine, it will start. So what DTM engine will do? It will validate the mapping. Whatever the mapping we have created, it will validate that one, whether the mapping is valid or not, the connections which we have given, those are correct or not. So all those things it is going to validate. So if anything is incorrect, it will fail the execution. And then it will validate source and target DB connections. So it will validate source and target database connections. Okay. So We also have to give the source and target connections. With the help of that connections only, it will connect to the source database. From there, it will read the data and then transfer, and it will give it to the writer. Writer will write the data into the target database. So after validating the connections, then it will enable the reader and write of the data. So integration service, and then it will enable the reader and writer thread for that mapping. As soon as reader is enabled, it will connect to the source database with the help of the connections which we have given. From there, it will read the data and it will give it to the writer. Writer, with the help of the target database connections, it will connect to the target database. There, it will write the data into the target table. Once the data loaded successfully into the target table, it will display the status message, whether it is a succeeded or failed, and also it will display the statistics. So how many records it has read per second, total how many records it has loaded read from the source table, how many records it has sent it to the target. Okay, is there any records rejected, at what time the execution has started, at what time execution has ended, all the statistics it will display. Okay, so all these things, these 5 steps can be taken care by integration service, the actual ETL process. So whereas repository contains only the mapping, so there we just map from source table or from source column to the target, which column we have to load the data, or while loading the data from source to target, is there any logic needs to implement? So those things it will be there inside the mapping. But actual ETL task can be taken care by integration service. So that is the reason we need to create repository and integration service. Next, once these two are created, and always these two services should be in available status. If any one of the service is not available, then it will not allow us to connect to the repository. Once this is done, then we have to install the client software. So once you install the Informatica client software, so here we will have the client tools like this. Informatica Power Center Designer, Power Center Workflow Manager, Power Center Workflow Monitor, Repository Manager. Like this, we'll have this client tools, will have Informatica developer tool also, that is not going to use by the Power Center. So that is for to improve the data quality and all. So that is different. So majorly we will be working on these 4 tools. So, but still this repository manager is for admin tool. This is the admin tool. So here, whatever repository we create and under domain, that repository we add here. We add a repository, we configure domains to connect a client and server. Here from the client, we have to configure the domain. After configuring the domains, then we have to create folder. So here we can create a folders and we can give the permissions to the folders. So all these things generally can be taken care by admin. Okay. So adding a repository, configuring the domain. So creating a folders or creating users also can be done by admin only in administrator. But in our systems, we have not created any user. By default, whatever user is there, admin, we are going to use the same user. Okay, so once this repository added in repository manager tool, that repository will reflect in other client tools, designer, workflow manager, workflow monitor tool. Okay, so with that the installation would be done. Then to start work with that, what we have to do is we have to suppose, let's say we have a source table like this, employee underscore yes, employee number, employee name, salary. Like this, we have a source table and target table employee underscore t. So now, after creating source and target tables, these 4 rows from the source we have to extract, transform, and load into the employee underscore t table with the help of Informatica tool. Okay, so for that, what we have to do is, let's say we have a requirement now. So we have source table, target table. For that, we have to create a mapping to load the data from employee underscore s to employee underscore t table. Okay, so for that, what we have to do is, so we have to open the Power Center Designer tool. So here, first step, import source definition. So here we have to import the source definition. Source definition means source table structure. Okay, so first we have to start create with the mapping. First we have to import the source definition, which is called source table structure. Here we call it as a source definition. And then we have to import target definition. So after importing source and target definitions, we have to create mapping. So these 3 things majorly we have to do in Power Center Designer tool. We can also perform other tasks that we will discuss later. For now, for any standard mapping to create, first we have to import the source definition, import target definition, then we have to create a mapping. So after creating a mapping, here we have to create a session task. What is the use of creating session task? Why we have to create a session task means to give the source and target database connections. So here we give the source and target database connections. With the help of these connections only, it will connect to the source database. From there, it will read the data and then it will give it to the target. With the help of target database connection only, writer will connect to the target database. There it will write the data. Next step. So after creating a session task, we have to create a workflow in Workflow Manager tool. Create workflow. So why we need to create workflow means to execute session or mapping. So whatever the mapping we have created, right? So that mapping to execute, we need to create a workflow. Okay, so if you create a workflow, then only there will get the option to execute our mapping or a session task. Without creating a workflow, we cannot execute. So these 2 are the major steps. We can also perform some other operations also here in Workflow Manager, but to create a standard mapping, so first we have to import source definition, target definition, create mapping, create session workflow, and then start execute. So as soon as we start execute, so it will connect to the integration service. Integration service will start DTM engine. It will validate mapping, session, workflow, everything, and then it will validate the database connections, and then reader will enable. Reader will read the data from source, give it to the writer. Writer will write the data into the target. After loading the data into the target table, here in Workflow Monitor tool, we can see the status and stats. The status and the statistics we can see in Monitor tool. So how much, whether it is succeeded or failed, how much time it has took to how much time it took to start, how much time it took to execute, and what time it has started execution, what time it has ended the execution, is there any records rejected, right? So all the statistics we can see in Workflow Monitor tool. Okay, so these are the standard steps we have to follow to start create with the mapping. Okay, so any questions till now? Is it clear? Mirza, Nabi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, fine. So now we'll start with the practical. Okay, so we'll create one source table emp underscore yes, and we'll create one target table, and we'll follow these steps to create a mapping. So after creating a mapping, one by one, transformation wise, we will be I'll be explaining the transformation, and then we will start the scenarios. But first today, we'll start with one practical example. Fine, right? Okay,
Yeah, that's
now,
fine. That's
yes.
fine.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is you have to connect to the database, open the Toad or SQL developer. Okay, so open our SQL developer, whichever you have installed, and open Informatica tool. Mirza, what is the status? Is it done installation?
I'm sorry. Actually, I forgot the uh, password. I tried like a system, but did not work. I don't know why.
Okay, can you please share your screen?
Yeah.
Before that, you can take this screenshot, or since you are already working, you know this. Okay. Okay. Still you are here.
Yeah.
Enter the database user ID as system, database address localhost,
I don't know why. I tried localhost.
colon 1521,
I'm sorry.
localhost colon 1521, colon
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
1521,
1, 2.
1521, and service name ORCL. Click on test connection. Successful.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm sorry.
So it is there in the video. I have already shared, right? Installation video.
Yeah, but the thing is, video they are using a different password.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Password, you know, right? System. While installing, wait. While installing, I have asked you to give the username password as system. You know that username password, right? So it doesn't matter whether they use the same password or a different password. In the video here, instead of giving the username password system, he created a new user with the name info underscore term. Password also he has given info underscore term. The same
Yes.
way you can follow. You can also create a new user. You can give the new user and password here, and the other database address, service name, everything is same.
Okay.
Click on continue. Here you can give your name capital M, small I, R, Z, A at 1, 2, 3, 4. Next. Okay. Here domain username admin, admin, domain username. Yeah, just keep as admin. Yeah, password also same, confirm password same. Next. Okay, so this will take time. Now open the client software. Go to the softwares. Parallelly will install client. Informatica client installer. Yes, open. Client. Right click on install.exe. Run as administrator. Okay, so others, Nabi and Shamim, what you can do is you can open the Toad tool, connect to the database, and open the designer tool, connect to the repository, keep it ready. We'll create a table and we'll create a mapping. Fine. So let me know if you face any issues to connect to the repository.
Okay.
So first open the services and see whether Informatica service is running or not. Click on next here. Next, select the first box. Next.
So first we
Next.
need to open what?
Open Toad tool, connect to the database.
Yeah, okay.
Click on next. Install. Okay, this will take time. Yeah, Nabi, you can share your screen. We'll guide you. We'll start with the creating first mapping. Mirza, you can follow the same thing. So after the class, after completion of the installation, I'll share the recording. So you can create the same in your system.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Nabi, you can share your screen. Okay, I can see your screen.
Okay, let me do that then.
Okay, first
Okay.
go to the desktop, open Toad. Yeah, Toad for Oracle 10. There, it's already gone. Yes. Fourth one you can, yes. Shamim, you can also follow the same thing in your system. Parallelly, we will create a mapping. So first time parallelly we'll do the first mapping, and then from second mapping onwards, I'll explain in the paint window. Then after the class, you can practice those scenarios, whatever I'll give.
What's
Click
the
on
error?
OK, OK. Click on OK, OK, OK. Yeah, don't show. Okay, here enter the password. Connect. No TNS listener.
So I put the password system.
No. Wait. So what is the error message? No TNS listener. It is not saying password is incorrect. Password
Okay.
whatever you have entered, that is fine, but the error message is different. You have to understand the error message, what error you have got. What is the TNS no listener?
I think we have something messed here in the TNS. We need to put the TNS file, I guess.
TNS file is already present, but the service of the TNS file is not running.
Okay.
Okay, now go to the search. There you type services.
Source here.
Not there. Windows. Yeah, below to that you have search box, right? Yeah, there. Type services. Yeah, select the first one. Select any one of the service and press O. There you can see Oracle service, the ORCL service, ORCL. Yes, yeah, that one is. Wait, don't right click. Wait. So is that running? What is the status of that?
It shows running.
Running. So the above one, expand the name. Wait. What is that service? Read that one.
Oracle.
Okay.
Ora DB10Z home.
Home one. Expand the name.
Home
Yeah.
TNS listener. Yes.
So are we getting the same error message? No TNS listener.
Yes.
Yes. Now corresponding to this service, see the status of that, whether it is running or not. What is the status?
The
No,
express
no,
Okay, it's not running.
not running, I guess. Yeah,
status you can see right side. Right? No, no, don't start. Wait, first see the status. What whether it is running or not.
it's not running.
It's not running. So that is the reason we have got that no TNS listener error.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are not able to connect to the database, first you have to come to services here, and then you have to check this TNS listener and the below one ORCL. So to connect to the database, these two services, TNS listener and ORCL, these two are mandatory that it should be running status. If any one of these are not running, it will not allow you to connect to the database.
Okay.
That is first step. The second step is if you are not able to connect to the database, then Informatica 100% it will not allow you to connect. It will not work.
Yes.
Okay, so without connecting to the database, without checking whether the database is working fine or not, directly you cannot check Informatica. Directly you cannot start working on Informatica. So
Okay.
if you are getting error in Informatica, first you have to check whether you are able to connect to the database or not. Both are interlinking, because while installing Informatica, we have configured the database also. So if database is down, then it will not allow you to connect to Informatica.
Yes.
Okay, now start this service.
Start here.
Yes. Okay, fine. Now we have started Oracle service. Both are running. Now go to the desktop, open the Toad again. Close this one, close this window and open again. Shamim, let me know you also if you face the same issue.
No, I was able to get connected.
Okay, fine, great. Click on connect. Not doesn't currently know the service requested. Connected description. So again, the same TNS listener service. Okay, now click on OK. Again, go to the services. Open that. Select Oracle service. Maximize. Do one thing. ORCL also. Can you restart? Restart the ORCL service. Yeah, select that one. Restart. Okay, now go back to the Toad, close and reopen again. Still, it is not working. Okay, click on OK. So another issue can be, give me control. Can I open this PC?
This PC.
Yeah.
Right. This PC or what?
No, enter. go to my computer. Yes, open that. Okay, wait. The same IP address, right?
Yes.
One. One 192.168.07.
191.60.07. Yes.
Can you restart your system and join back once?
Yeah, I can do that.
Everything is fine. Okay. What's the how much percentage done? What is the status?
I'm showing you actually. This is
Okay.
the server.
Server run.
Yeah, and this is the
Still
client.
11%.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So once the server is done, let me know.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll start practical tomorrow's session. Okay. So that will take some time, and still the installation also pending. Is that fine?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
That's fine.
Okay. So then I'll check Nabi's system. Still, if the issue is there, then I'll fix that one. And tomorrow we'll continue with the practical first session. Same time. Fine?
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, Nabi, you can share your screen. Okay, enter the password. Connect. Still again, it's the same error. TNS no listener.
Yeah.
You go to the database, services. Arkels, the TNS service automatically it should start. We no need to start every time.
It's not running.
Yeah, start it. Wait. Can you click on once again?
Where?
Connect. Click on connect. TNS listener doesn't currently know of the service requested in connected description. Okay, 1 second, hold on. Everything looks fine. 12514. still you are getting the same, click on OK and close, open again once, close, open once again.
Do you see this error message?
Yes.
Is it something
Click on
related?
OK. Not related to the database, that is related to Toad. Still the same. Okay.
We can connect direct. We can use the direct SQL server. Say SQL developer.
Yeah, do you have SQL developer?
Yeah, I guess so.
Can you open that? Okay, open that. Others, if you want, you can leave.
Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think my server is done. Server. So it's a admin, right?
No, 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 no. Remove the tick mark.
Okay.
Click on next. Okay. Still it has not completed. It will take another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
No.
What should I do to not to see this?
Click on first, select the first one. Click on OK. Close this button. Okay, now click on that plus. No, not that one. Same error getting.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you wanna look at it tomorrow?
I'm just checking. I pinged you in chat. Can you open that link?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. For the same error, he has explained like what could be the reason. Action. Wait for a moment and try to connect the second time. The first point, we have connected twice, thrice, but still we are getting the same error. Check which service are currently known by the listener by executing. Listener control services. That and all I have verified. Everything is fine only. Can you go back to that services window? Restart both listener and ORCL. Now try to connect and wait. Hold on 1 second. Go back to the services. Other Oracle services. Can you select that Oracle DBC? Yeah, that one. Select that one. Start.
This one is disabled.
Yeah,
This
that is disabled. Fine. This is not mandatory. Even though this is not running, it should allow to connect. Click on OK. It is not getting started. Okay, now try to connect to the database. Okay, same error. Fine, I'll check this later. You try after 2-3 hours. Okay, so see still you are getting the same issue or not.
Yeah, probably I have to try tomorrow because I have to. It's 11, almost 11. I have to go bed and work tomorrow.
Fine, no problem. Try to check tomorrow morning and let me know still if you have the same issue.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, bye, Ali. Mine is still is going on. It's a pinging domain, but it still is,
Fine.
circling. So
Yeah, fine. So what you do is after completion of that thing, you just ping me in WhatsApp what you are getting, then I will suggest you what needs to be done. Otherwise,
okay,
we'll start tomorrow morning in the next session.
okay,
Fine,
all right.
thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Fine.